Good morning, children. This is our fourth lesson on modal verbs. Remember, you'll need a notepad and a pencil. And you'll also need to listen out or look out to see if I might have made a mistake today. Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs that show us degrees of possibility or show us certainty. We're going to start with a little bit of practice today, and then we're going to move on to looking at modal verbs in questions. So here's our first practice. Pause the video and have a go. Okay, so it says, underline the modal verbs in the sentence below. It says modal verbs, look. So I've got to look for more than one. I should not play the part until I can sing the song perfectly. I can see can, and I can see the negative form of should not. It says underline the modal verbs. That's telling us there's more than one in the sentence below. We really ought not go in there because we might wake the beast. I can see the negative form of ought not, and I can see the word might. We might wake the beast. Pause the video and have a go at this one. Okay, so the instruction is order the sentence below based on the necessity, least to most, that the modal verb implies. We've got to explain what we're thinking here. So the necessity, the most, the least to most. So the sentence is, I should do my homework, but I want to go out to play. I must do my homework, but I want to go out to play. I could do my homework, but I want to go out to play. I think could is the least necessary. I could do my homework. The most necessary is I must do my homework. So if I were to put these in order from the least to the most, I would say C is the least, I could do my homework. A is next, I should do my homework. And B is next, I must do my homework. The most necessary is must. Let's look at the next one. Order the sentences below based on the necessity, least to most, that the modal verb implies. Explain your order. I may go to visit my grandparents, for they are at home. I shall go to visit my grandparents, for they are at home. I should go to visit my grandparents, but they are at home. Well, I think the least necessary is I may. It means I might not. So I think I'm going to go with A is my first one. Now, shall or should? I shall go. Now when I think back to our modal verbs, shall was a modal verb for necessity. So I think should needs to go next. I think should, let's pick that up again. Should needs to go next, and shall is our last one. I may, I should, I shall. Okay, so our next job is you're going to write some sentences for me. I want you to think about making the most creative sentence you can, or the most unusual sentence you can. I want you to think about possibly using fronted adverbials or expanded noun phrases. I'm going to spin the spinner 4 times. Each time you're going to get a modal verb. You must include that in your next sentence. So I'll spin it 4 times. You'll write 4 sentences. Here we go. Here's my first spin. So you're going to write a sentence with the modal verb could in it. Pause the video and have a go. Okay, ready for your second sentence? Your next sentence must include the modal verb must. Pause the video and have a go. So that's two sentences. We have two more sentences. Your next sentence must include the modal verb can. Pause the video and have a go. Okay, we're going to spin for our last sentence. Here we go. Your last sentence must include the word will, the modal verb will. Pause the video and have a go. Don't forget to read back your 4 sentences. Okay, children, I'm hoping that you've read back your 4 sentences and you've checked them for capital letters and full stops. Did you include any challenges, like, for example, a fronted adverbial or an expanded noun phrase? Maybe some people might have chosen to use a relative clause or a bracket in their sentence. The book we're reading at the moment is Cosmic by Frank Cottrell Boyce. I read to you on Monday chapters 1 and 2. This is an extract from chapter 1. What I want you to do is think about where are the modal verbs. Read the text with me and then make a list of the modal verbs. Let's read the text together. In St Joan of Arc Primary, the teachers seemed to think that height and age were the same thing. If you were taller than someone, you must be older than them. If you were tall and you made a mistake, even if it was only your first day, you got "you should know better, big lad like you." Why, by the way, why should a big lad know better just because he's big? King Kong's a big lad. Would he know the way to the toilet block on his first day at school when no one had told him? No, I don't think he would. Okay, pause the video and make a list of the modal verbs that you can see. Let's find them together. In St Joan of Arc Primary, the teacher seemed to think that height and age were the same thing. If you were taller than someone, then you must be older than them. If you were tall and you made a mistake, even if it was only your first day, you got "you should know better, big lad like you." Why, by the way, why should a big lad know better just because he's big? King Kong's a big lad. Would he know the way to the toilet block on his first day at school when no one had told him? No, I don't think he would. Did you get them all? I hope you did. So today we're going to look at modal verbs for questions. Often when we see a modal verb and we want a sentence with a modal verb, we can turn it into a question. Here's my sentence. She can go out. If I want to turn it into a sentence, I put my modal verb at the beginning. Can she go out? I've changed the sentence "she can go out" to "can she go out?" Under the screen shade, there are some sentences with modal verbs. I want you to read them, pause the video, and write a sentence that's a question, thinking about putting the modal verb to the beginning. Let's do the first one together. We could drive there. That would become That would become, could we drive there? We've taken the modal verb could and popped it to the beginning of the sentence. We could drive there. Could we drive there? Have a look at the other sentences. Pause the video and have a go. How did you get on? So this next sentence says, children should eat fruit. So if I want to turn that into a question, I'm going to say, should children eat fruit? Next sentence says, he could have missed the train. If I want to turn it into a question, I'm going to put could at the beginning. Could he have missed the train? They will lock the windows when they go out. So it's my modal verb will. Will they lock the windows when they go out? Is my question. You could eat a banana instead of those sweets. My modal verb is could. It's going to the beginning of my question. Could you eat a banana instead of those sweets? We can go the other way. Turn it into a question and it should say, can we go the other way? How did you get on? Pause the video and have a look at these. It says, rewrite the sentence below so that the modal verb may is in the correct position in the sentence. Now, I can see a question mark here, so I think my may should go to the beginning of the sentence. Let's say it out loud first to see if it makes sense. May I get a drink of water, please? Asked Gabriel. At the minute it says, I may get a drink of water, please. That's a statement. To turn it into a question, I've got to move may to the beginning of my sentence, including my inverted commas. It looks like this. May I get a drink of water, please? Asked Gabriel. May I get a drink of water, please? Asked Gabriel. Fabulous. The next one says, rewrite the sentence below so that the modal verb could is in the correct position in the sentence. Let's read it and see what it sounds like. By the time he reached 10 months old, could Ben walk around the house? Well, actually, at the minute, that's a question. That could is not at the beginning of the sentence because by the time he reached 10 months old is a fronted adverbial. And so I need my could after the comma. So at the minute is a question. I need to turn it into a statement. Let's try it. By the time he reached 10 months old, Ben could walk around the house. And actually, I'm looking now, could walk. The modal verb and the verb are together. That makes sense. Okay, so we've got 6 statements here, and your last job of today is to write 6 sentences that are questions, not statements. Let's read them together. Marie can dance gracefully. Jamie can ride his bike without stabilizers. I cannot swim well. The choir can sing beautifully. Sarah cannot do the splits. The dog can catch a frisbee. You've got to think very carefully because there are some negative modals in there that you will have to change slightly to turn them into questions. Have a go. When you've finished it, send it to me so that I can see it.